So should I start a trad wife TikTok?
Wait, so you're saying you are a trad wife? What's up, everybody? How you doing? I'm Paul.
I'm Morgan. And if you're new to this channel, make sure you subscribe. We risk giving TMI.
To help you navigate DMI, dating, marriage. I just ate a granola bar, a fruit bar.
Terrible timing.
Dating, marriage, and intimacy. Welcome aboard. Trad wives, Morgan. Traditional wives.
Yes, indeed.
We're about to go there. This is going to be very interesting. Honestly, very interesting. Guys, just put on your non-offended cap. Doesn't mean you can't push back at us, at these posts. You don't even know where we're going to go with it necessarily. So everyone just calm down. Before we do, we're going to be talking in this video about marriage.
Sure.
To a large degree. And you guys know we just dropped our intimacy PDF, 80 questions and prompts to help your love life. We really believe in this PDF. It's short, it's sweet, it's practical, and we have it linked below. We'd encourage you guys, if you're married, newly married, you want to spice up your love life, make it better, make it stronger, work on the communication within, get this PDF.
Your love life is worth everything, but it's only $12, so go ahead and get it.
All right. Very good, Morgan. Let's dive right in. Some of you may be asking, trad wife, like I've heard it kind of. Maybe I saw something on TikTok because apparently it's really kind of heating up on TikTok. But it's all over. What is going on there? There's a woman that's actually apparently kind of in the center of a decent amount of TikTok drama. Trad wife. Pull up the picture.
So I'm going to pick one. No definition. This one.
This is what I hopped on her Instagram.
Great eyebrows. I need those eyebrows.
She does have nice eyebrows. I hopped on because I saw Ben Shapiro actually post a video of her talking about trad wifery, and people were really not happy and pushing back or whatever. You guys know the drill. But this is a definition she gave.
A trad wife, short for a traditional wife, is a woman who prefers to take a traditional or ultra-traditional role in marriage, including the beliefs that a woman's place is in the home.
Oh, Morgan, I did not grab the iPad.
Oh.
Are we good, though, for now?
Yeah, we can just use my phone.
I mean, I'll grab it afterwards. Interesting. Morgan, I pull it up real quick. Sorry, one more time. I just want to see she, in her words, traditional or ultra traditional role in marriage. Well, if you're still kind of like, okay, that's a little bit vague, we're about to get to some very specific posts. So you guys and Morgan and I will be able to dissect this and see, is a trad wife something to aspire to?
Is it biblical? That's the real question.
Very good. Very good. Let's go.
Why would we aspire to be anything other than a biblical woman? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Exactly. Let's go ahead and do the first trad wife photo. And I just do want to say that I think there's 3 different trad wife accounts, Instagram accounts, if you will. I'm not going to get on here and say all of these women would stand up on the podium and say, I am a trad wife.
But they probably would.
I think, I don't know. I'm not going to say that. But I would say their accounts, many would look at it and be like, that's a trad wife. True-ish account.
Fair.
Especially this first one. Many of you know her.
Oh, yeah.
The transformed wife, also known as her real name, which is... What's her real name?
No idea.
No, I know her real name.
Godly womanhood. That's what she has up there.
A transformed wife, a.k.a. in the live chat.
Liz. That's my guess.
It's not Liz.
Betty.
No, I know her name. All right, it's...
Sarah. No, it's not Sarah.
Right in the live chat. Help us out. Alexander. Lori Alexander. Lori, I'm pretty sure that's it. Lori.
Dang it, I would have guessed Lori eventually.
Yep, there it is. It's Lori Alexander. Perfect. Morgan, read the first one that we're going to be discussing.
Do you know why many pastors fear speaking the truth of women's roles to women, but not men's roles to men? In general, women are far more easily offended than men. It has to do with our emotional nature. They simply don't want to offend women and have to deal with it.
Woo-hoo-hoo. Leave it up for just a second.
Okay.
Morgan, do you suspect that we will be largely in agreement with these posts of this nature, or more pushing back on them and saying this is just too far?
We'll see. We'll see.
Okay, well, we got our first one.
Well, it's interesting because I feel like most people's complaint is that pastors only ever talk to the women and tell women how to behave.
That's what you see a lot of people maybe who have rejected this and say this is so harmful. But goes into purity culture and all this stuff.
Yeah.
They tend to say that.
Yeah.
Lori Alexander
Would say that that's not the case.
What do you think? If you just kind of went to 100 random churches, is it more targeting men or women?
I will say I do feel like pastors these days, when they're talking about women and women's roles, they do tend to tiptoe around like the idea of the woman staying at home, the women raising the children, the women, whatever.
Submitting to their husbands.
Yeah, submitting to I feel like they don't talk about that at all. And if they do, again, it's very like, we're gonna walk into this. No, it's not submitting. It's like you love them so much and you just respect them. It's like they try not to even use the word submit. Yeah, I don't know. So I think that first one is just interesting.
All right, we'll go ahead and go to the next one. She did say she doesn't hold back, and actually the first three, I think, are by the transformed wife.
Well, here we go.
She said that women are more emotional, and the pastors know this kind of, and so he knows if I say this, the women are going to get emotional, upset.
Which is probably accurate.
By and large, are women more emotional than men?
Yes. And it's okay. That's not a bad thing. Like, it's a beautiful thing. The Lord made us emotional creatures, like beautiful emotional creatures, and we need to accept that and be okay with that. It's not a bad thing.
Love it. You guys see the tone of this video. If it's going to trigger you too much,
is it gonna trigger you?
You're welcome to hop off, but I don't think it should. Okay, we're all mature people here. What's the next one by?
All right. Career women give the best part of their day when they're brightest and full of energy to strangers.
Oof.
Then come home to give their exhausted leftover selves to their husbands and children. Then we wonder why marriages are crumbling and children are failing.
Oh, the transformed wife. You are a tough cookie. She went there.
It is interesting because I feel like there really is no good argument back to this. It's kind of like, that is the truth. It's the cold, hard truth, the brutal, blunt truth. But it's like anyone who goes to work all day and comes home, like, you're just exhausted. You're tired. You don't have a ton to give because you just gave it all during work, because you get fired if you are grumpy, frumpy, and, cold. Well, these days, customer service is trash, but
it's gone downhill some.
But you know what I mean. And so, yeah, I mean, it's kind of true. It's sad. And there are some super moms out there who, like, I get it. You go to work, you put on your best there, and then you come home and you just say, Lord, give me the strength. And you've got the strength to pour into your kids. I don't know how you're doing it, and I hope that it's sustainable, but I just don't know how sustainable that is. And then what? Do your husbands get the scraps, or do you have nothing left to give your husband, or are you super woman and you still have to give to your husband?
I don't have too much to say specifically on that one. I will say, though, when I was in the dating phase and I went on a first date, one girl in particular I'm thinking of, and she described her many more years in school to take on a very intense career, and for me that was enough to say, okay, you definitely are a quality person. I can tell you've got drive, but I don't think we're going to work out. You're not the wife that I'm looking for, because I don't want to share you with an intense career. I'm not saying that no careers can work. Morgan helps obviously with the YouTube channel and whatnot, but what she was describing to me, I didn't really want to go there. So I see what Lori's saying there.
Yeah, and our friend Bethany Beal, like one of her like passions is to help women find jobs that they can do from home so that they get to be stay-at-home moms, and I think that that's so cool.
Yeah.
And like such a big thing these days. Like there really are a lot more opportunities to be a stay-at-home mom while still making income on the side to help out, because I get it, things are stinking expensive.
Yeah.
And sometimes we both have to work, and hopefully in a perfect world no one would have to work. No, just kidding. But the women wouldn't have to work and would get to stay home and not worry about that. But
which is a very trad wife, trad husband thing.
Yeah.
Is they are working the home. They are working the home. But all right, go to the next one, Morgo.
here we go.
What you got to say here?
Our culture needs wise, discerning, godly women who diligently study and know God's word in order to raise godly offspring as God commands.
Amen so far.
This does not require a college education. That turns women into God-hating feminists.
Wow. Right off the bat, that was a little bit of a blunt blanket statement to end that post, because I'm hoping there are Christian or Bible schools out there that are not turning the women that go through those programs God-hating feminists. Man, I sure hope that's the case.
Okay, that is the case.
So
there are plenty of schools out there.
She is being a little divisive, a little triggering there.
She likes to be very divisive. Yeah, I get what you're saying, and I agree. It doesn't take college to be a God-fearing, godly woman who learns and knows how to love her husband and children and take care of home. I'd say start nannying.
Would it be fair to say that it would actually probably be a good thing if more women that desire to get married and have Christian marriages pull away from the focus of college into, I'm going to focus on being an awesome homemaker, awesome wife? And I know that's like controversial in itself. You heard me push back on her post a little bit, but I'm just saying kind of more of the general. I'm not saying that there aren't maybe women who are like, I have this really strong desire to go this path and college is required, but just more as a general rule.
I will say I find it very confusing when I hear and have so many conversations with young women who are like, all I want is to be a mom and a wife. That's all I want, which is an incredible desire to have, and that should never be looked down upon or frowned upon. But yet I'm headed off to college to get a 4-year degree, a 6-year, and 8-year degree in doing blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, but all you want is to be a wife and a mom. Why are you going and spending thousands upon thousands of dollars at school? Not to say you can't work during those years that you don't have a husband, that you don't have a family. You can, but you guys, there are so many jobs out there you don't need a college degree for. So many. So I'm like, if your deepest desire is to be a wife and a mom, you don't need to go to college. I'm saying it.
Let us know in the comment section, you guys. Seriously. What are your thoughts on that? I'd be curious to hear.
And I know that that's a controversial belief to have, even within the Christian community. And I find it really confusing as to why that's a controversial belief, because I'm just like, if that's what you want, then you need to start making decisions that will lead you to that. So be a nanny, or go be a preschool aide, or a nursery caregiver, or a blah, 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 whatever.
Wives watching this video that did go to college and now, are focused on the family, do you look back and say, oh, but college was really good for me now that I do focus more on my family, but it still was really good for me for X reason? Let us know. Let us know.
Yeah.
All right, next one is from someone else. Morgan, what is it, number 5, I think?
4.
4, pull it up. Yeah. Okay, this is an account called Feminine Not Feminist. Gotta love that.
Girl,
you gotta love that.
Links.
Very good handle there.
Husbands are not children. Children are not accessories. Dating is not marriage. Masculinity is not toxic. Casual sex is not liberation. Tolerance is not love. Truth is not hate speech.
I mean, I feel like, to me, that's just exactly like any solid Christian. Is there anything to push back on there in that post?
No.
Good post, feminine, not feminist. Good post.
Good post. Agreed. As you can see, I liked it.
What do you know?
All right. Most women don't deprive their boyfriends sexually.
Oh no, we're about to go here.
Because they know their boyfriends will leave them if they do. Ooh. But then are fine with depriving their husbands sexually because they are married. This is backwards. Deprive your boyfriends of all sex, but not your husband.
Let's stinking go. Morgan, can I just say this? I know that transformed wife, Lori Alexander, she gets some hate. And she gets some pushback. A lot of people are just cringe. Oh, transformed wife, cringe. I get it. She's made several posts that I've looked at and been like, why do you have to be so like intense in your wording? What you're saying is not. It's just you're making it sound like it's gospel and it's not. So that's my biggest grievance. But I'm looking at these posts we're reading by her, and I'm like, boom. Stink a kick a pow. Well said. Like that is a solid post.
Yeah.
I would say the majority of her stuff is pretty stinking solid so far.
I mean, from what we've shared, yes. But she does cross the line, in my opinion, often.
That was stinking good. Well said. I mean, dude, I'm ready to get that tattooed on my arm. What she just posted there to her Instagram.
But yeah, no, I'd say she's accurate in that statement. I'd say I was right there in that situation of being afraid that my boyfriend was going to leave me if I didn't give him what he wanted. And that's really a sad place to be. And then you get married and it can oftentimes reverse. And you got to be careful with that.
It's good. I like how she's going from the dating life to the married life, because marriage it takes work. It takes commitment. It takes work. It takes communication. That's why our sex PDF can be very helpful. Next one, Morgan.
All right. Many wives will manipulate their husbands into going to marriage counseling, and it's often a female counselor. They want the counselors to fix their husbands. I tried this. Women need older women teaching them biblical womanhood and how to be godly, submissive wives instead.
So I was just praising the transformed wife quite heartedly. That's an interesting post. Leave that up for a second.
Okay, I'm very against this post.
Oh, very against.
It's ridiculous.
I'm trying to understand the heart of it here.
I'm not saying she's not wrong. I believe there have been plenty of women in the world that are like, we're going to marriage counseling, and their hopes are that like they're gonna get their husbands into marriage counseling, and their counselors can be the ones to like change them, even though it might not be the husbands that need to change. A lot of times it's the wives that need to learn how to compromise or learn how to, give a little more or whatever. Not saying that the husband is in the clear. Oftentimes the husband is very stubborn, very prideful, and needs to be held accountable.
And that's probably my biggest pushback is absolutely sometimes a husband maybe just can't hear it from his wife, and they need that. Hopefully there's just accountability within friendships and stuff that can speak into their lives. But we are advocates for counseling, for therapy. Yes. And sometimes the husband does have a massive blind spot and he needs a little slap in the face from a counselor.
Definitely. Or a church elder or a church member, like pastor, whatever.
Yeah, so the idea of taking an issue you have within your marriage to counseling, I don't think that should be frowned upon. I would say though, we already shared the post of her pushing on pastors for being scared of offending women. Mm-hmm. I think that could be absolutely still be the case within the counseling sessions. And so a wife might find a counselor that she feels really good about, that wouldn't push on the woman, would never tell the woman to submit, would not actually, go into any of those more sticky, icky, difficult places, but she'd be more likely to push back on the man. And that's, you want to find a trusted, well-balanced biblical counselor.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of counselors that say they're Christian, that say they're biblical, but they're not actually giving any biblical advice, or they're not blaming, but counseling, just the husband to work on something and the wife doesn't have to work on anything, or just the wife to work on something and the husband doesn't have to. And sometimes that is the case. Sometimes the husband really needs to work on stuff and get his crap together. Same for the wife. But yeah, I think it's really important to find a counselor that is going to give solid biblical advice.
Yeah, just the way she even worded it, wives will manipulate their husbands into going to counseling. I don't. When I think of pushing your spouse to go to counseling, I think there's something that needs to be worked through, and there shouldn't be. I don't really get the manipulation thing personally.
Yeah, I don't either.
Unless you are like going to some progressive counselor that's just going to side with you.
Yeah.
All right, before we get to the last few, you guys, if you enjoy this video, you believe in the stuff that's being discussed here, even if it's a little bit, you're enjoying it, give it a thumbs up, help out those algorithms. Go, Morgan, the next one.
All right.
We talked about one of the Homemaker Manifesto's posts a while ago.
Be the kind of woman the man you want your husband to be would want to be married to.
Oh, we've talked about this.
Yeah. There are a lot of women and men out there who are like, this is what I want in a husband, or this is what I want in a wife. And it's like, well, what the heck what are you offering? Not much. You're a mess. Like, get your stuff together.
Dude.
Not saying that you have to have it all figured out, but you still wear pajamas all day long and eat junk food and don't take care of your body and your mental health and your spiritual health. You're hardly at church. What do you have to offer? Why do you want such a high quality wife when you have nothing to offer her?
Yeah, I don't like it either way.
Yeah.
I feel like the Jesse Lee Peterson, back when we were
never mention his name.
When we were debating him, kind of there was that camp that was radical in one side of like the wife should be this drop dead gorgeous blah blah blah, and I don't know if he said anything, but just more of that camp, and the husband just deserves it. But when the husband, like you already described, but then on the other side, let's not abuse it from either side. Embody those traits, the quality, be a quality person because you want to be with a quality person. Good stuff. Next one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Here we go, baby.
The way to your man's heart. Fix him food he loves. Be available sexually. Smile at him often. Stop quarreling with him. Don't try to control or change him. Show kindness to him. Dress and act feminine. Show him reverence. Submit to his leadership. Dwell on the good in him.
Oh, Lori. How dare she tell women to smile?
How dare she?
Ugh.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with this, honestly.
My mom actually texted this to my sister, Morgan, and I.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with it. I could see many, 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 many people having problems with this, many women having problems with this, but I think it's accurate.
Be available sexually. Would that be probably, Morgan, like the most triggering one out of the list?
I mean, yeah, probably. But honestly, I feel like all of it is triggering to women who don't like the idea of serving a man.
Submit to his leadership would be triggering.
Dress and act feminine. Don't try to control him or change him. Yeah. Yeah, Susanna just wrote, I think there's exceptions to almost everything, but for the most part, this isn't bad advice. I agree.
Yeah, you may have a husband that there's one or two things on that list they just don't really care that much about. So you don't need to put pressure on yourself to be like, I have to do this, this, this. If he's like, food's just not that big a deal to me. You don't need to spend hours and hours and hours slaving in the kitchen to be this trad wife when he just would be fine with a simple sandwich or making his own food, whatever.
Yeah.
So that was a good comment, Susanna.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. The girls are being raised to be self-centered feminists. What are your dreams, hopes, and passions? It's never about living a sacrificial life in obedience to God. Godly mothers need to be raising their daughters differently than the culture. Raise them to be selfless and loving. I mean,
wow.
I think you guys know, like, we've talked about how we live in such a self world. It's all about me culture, and that's really dangerous. And I think we are seeing more and more like grown women raising their daughters to be like, you put you first. You never love a man more than you love yourself. You serve yourself. You do what you want to do. Whatever makes you happy, that's what you do. And it's like, that is literally not biblical at all. What are we doing?
Lori is hitting on some major issues, but she's just like ripping off the Band-Aid and just like going nuts.
Yeah.
But that was a great statement. Could she be a little bit softer? Sure. But I think that's one of the appeals about her is she just said it. And it's kind of refreshing, even though she goes too far in our opinions on some things. What do you guys think? Yeah. What do you guys think about those posts? Which ones stood out to you as maybe being like, that was a kick butt post, or I don't love that post? Like, I'd be curious. I'm curious to see in the comment section. But I thought that last post was great. I refer to the commercial that I saw a while back. I've shared it in other videos. But it was like a deodorant commercial or something, and it literally ended with worship yourself. Like that is what culture is feeding women and men too, to a certain extent. But I feel like there's kind of a funnel pouring into women even more than men in this sphere. And we gotta look at what the Bible says. Look different than culture. I thought Lori handled that particular one very well. Give this video a thumbs up if you guys enjoyed it. That was very interesting. We will see you guys again soon. Have hope.
And be free. If you're in the chat, we'll be right back.
Hey guys, as you may have noticed, we get very few brand deals. A big reason for that is because we make unashamedly Christian content.
We've had brand deals taken away from us because people who don't like us reach out to them and demand that they cancel us.
Due to the fact that we stand on what the Bible says and we don't conform to culture.
Which is why our patrons, the names you see here, are so important.
You guys really are the lifeblood of this ministry. We could not do it without you all.
If you guys believe in this content and you want to partner with us on Patreon, go to patreon.com/Paulandmorganshow or click the link in the description.
Go team. That was the one.